y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. Here we talk about books, fashion, pretty much anything I feel like talking about at the moment. And I know it's been about 3 months since I posted my last book talk video, but I was actually really busy with costume designing. It was supposed to end in October, but it ended up going until December because I got asked to do another gig at City College at the same time I was still doing the one that I was working on since August. So I was so grateful to have given the opportunity to learn and teach and just have a lot of fun doing what I love. It's amazing. So I haven't been able to post any full-length videos about books, but that doesn't mean I wasn't reading. So I finished up Onyx Storm some point in August or September. I have it on my phone when I finished it, but I can't remember right now. Then I decided to start the Dream Harbor series. Mind you, I have like a whole lot of books that I got as early birthday gifts and early Christmas gifts that I probably should have started, but that just means I have a lot to read next year, which is fantastic. I don't really have to worry about what to read next year. I have a whole lot. Like, seriously, a lot. Anyway, so I finished up Onyx Storm, which, by the way, we're not going to talk about right now because that's a lot to talk about. After that, I decided to start the Dream Harbor series because I thought it was going to be a nice, wholesome book series where I could just kind of clear my head out of what happened with Onyx Storm. Little did I know that it was actually smut. So I'm up to book 4 out of 6 on that series, but I decided to take a break from it for a little bit because I've already read like the fall book and I've read the Christmas ones, and now we're in December. So you know what? I thought, let me take a little break and let me read this book. I can't wait to talk about it. And the drink of this book talk is going to be Olipop's Vintage Cola. I thought that this was really cute to pick up for this because this book is very high school, very, very wholesome. So I thought, okay, cola, why not, right? And this dress, well, it's not a dress, it's like a romper, I thought was very fitting to wear for this video because our main character loves florals. She loves cutesy dresses. So I thought, why not this? I had a lot of options, by the way, because I love cutesy dresses and all this stuff that she likes. But I went with this one because I thought it was very fitting. And it actually looks sort of similar to this dress, sort of, in terms of like pattern anyway. And I don't know, I just thought it was very, very nice. So why not? And my jewelry, this is just a heart necklace because, you know, we're going to be talking about a rom-com, and this is actually one of my favorite necklaces to wear right now, like as of lately. I've been wearing this for a few months. And then this cute necklace. This actually was a charm from Chanel, and because our main character likes Chanel No. 5 perfume, why not wear the charm from the brand? So let's sit back, have a drink with me, and let's get started on talking about better than the movies. Oh, by the way, so I could just, like, I'm gonna just take this off on camera because I should have taken this off beforehand. I tend to forget now because it's become such a staple now in like what I am wearing on a daily basis. It really helps my bangs, so here we go. I might end up putting it back up because my bangs do get in the way and they are growing. So anyway, let's get started. All right. As per usual, we will start with reading the book description. I have the physical copy of the book right here, so I'm not sure what it looks like through the Kindle, but yeah, we're going to read from right here. I'm so excited. All right. So I'm actually going to read from the top here because it says like a lot of characters from different movies that I've watched, and I'm sure a lot of other people have watched as well. So it says Bridget Jones and Mark Darcy, Harry and Sally, Tom Hanks, and, well, everyone. And then Liz Buxbaum. I really hope I'm saying this right. I didn't even bother to look it up. I probably should have looked up how to say her last name. Liz Buxbaum and who? A sweet and funny love letter to romantic comedies, perfect for anyone who wishes their life had a film-worthy soundtrack, a quirky wardrobe, and a memorable meet-cute. Written by Carrie Winifrey, author of Waiting for Tom Hanks. Liz Buxbaum has always known that Wes Bennett was not boyfriend material. You would think that the next-door neighbor would be a prime candidate for her romantic comedy fantasies. But Wes has only proven himself to be a pain in the butt ever since they were little. Wes was the kid who put a frog in her Barbie dream house, the monster who hid a lawn gnome's severed head in her little homemade neighborhood book exchange. Flash forward 10 years from the great gnome decapitation. It's Liz's senior year, a time meant to be rife with milestones perfect for any big screen, and she needs Wes's help. See, Liz's forever crush Michael has just moved back to town, and horribly, annoyingly, he's hitting it off with Wes. Meaning that if Liz wants Michael to finally notice her, and hopefully be her prom date, she needs Wes. He's her in. But as Liz and Wes scheme, by the way, that was such a total tongue lisp thing that I had going on there. But as Liz and Wes scheme to get Liz her magical prom moment, she's shocked to discover that she actually likes being around Wes. And as they continue to grow closer, she must re-examine everything she thought she knew about love and rethink her own perception of what happily ever after should really look like. So actually, prior to getting this book, I did not read the book description. I actually picked this up because a few months ago, I think some point in the summer, Barnes & Noble had this book as the book of the month for $5 if you bought anything from the cafe. And I unfortunately missed it. And I hate that I missed it because it came with the sprayed edges that matched the book so well. And I believe it was blue. And I'm so upset that I didn't grab that because I didn't know until way later. So I was like, okay, maybe one day I'll read the book. And then Target actually had it on sale for 20% off. And then you get an extra 5% off if you have the Target card. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then my mom got it for me because I think on top of this, it was a buy two, get one free book. Or yeah, buy 2 books and you get 1 free. So I was like, oh my God, I really want to read this. So she got it for me and I was so happy. So that was just a little bit of how I ended up in this reading this book in the first place. So basically, our main character Liz is whole, full-on lover of romance, romantic comedy movies. Her life is a movie, or at least that's what she hoped it would be. It would be a complete rom-com, and she is obsessed with music. She loves being able to make a playlist for everything in her life, everything that's important to her, which is amazing because I feel most of us do that. We make our own playlist according to either we're working out, we're going to work, we're going to bed. I know I have some of my own playlists depending on the situation, but I feel this character Liz, she goes above and beyond when it comes down to that. And her life mainly revolved around this because of her mom, who isn't around anymore, ever since I believe the beginning of the book. And, it was really interesting for me personally. I'm a sucker for rom-coms. I grew up watching a lot of romantic comedies. So one thing I can really say that I appreciate about this book that really kept me reading was how every chapter begins with a quote from a rom-com. And it's actually one of the classic ones that I grew up with as a kid. So I thought it was really cool. There wasn't one that I didn't know. This is a random one that I'm pulling. You're not as well as I thought you were from 10 Things I Hate About You. And usually, from my understanding of reading this, every quote kind of had to do with the chapter that you were reading in some way, shape, or form. So I really appreciated that a lot out of this book. And I don't know, it was just super duper cute. Definitely was wholesome. I also didn't know that this took place in a high school setting. I thought that this was actually going to jump right into a college setting. It wasn't. I really went into this blindly, as you can see. So, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I enjoyed it. It was very, if you had to pick a trope on what this is, it's sort of enemies to lovers, because it's not like they were enemies, but they were kind of enemies. They, again, like the book description had said, he had done so many things to bother her and stuff like that. And in this high school setting, they were fighting over this parking spot that they have. And actually, that's where it all started too, sort of how she ended up having him help in the first place. The deal was help me get to Michael, and you get to keep the, what they call the spot, which was the parking spot that she would usually take that he wanted. So I kind of knew like early on that he actually had a thing for her. If you know enough about rom-coms, there are things that Wes does throughout the book and things that you learn about Wes through other people that kind of leads to like, yeah, he definitely likes her. Like, there's no way. Like, even in the book description, like, all the things that he did, like the frog, the gnome head, like, you're bothering her because you like her. You're trying to get her attention some way, somehow, right? So I don't think it's a mystery or a surprise when we find out that he does like her. This may be a spoiler. Sorry. But I just feel like you kind of know early on that he does have a really big crush on her. He just, instead of just saying that, he ends up doing all these funny things that bother her and like make her want to pay attention to him. You know what I mean? So let's see. I've already handled book descriptions, some of my thoughts. I don't really have highlights other than the quotes that are given in the beginning of each chapter, only because, like, again, this was a very wholesome book and it took place in high school. There weren't any moments in particular that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna highlight this. I enjoyed the reading. I enjoyed it so much, and I really do think it's an easy read. There's just not anything particular that I want to pinpoint that I was just like, oh my god. In terms of like the story there, however, is something I really want to point out that I absolutely adored about this book. And I actually have the second book now because of how much I loved it in this book. The outfits, the wardrobe, the way it's described. I am also a costume designer. It's one of my dream jobs, other than like book publishing and stuff like that. Costume designing is where I thrive. I love being able to dress people up. I love seeing people be so happy that the outfits that they have chosen work so well with their character and they feel comfortable in it and they feel like they could act even more with it. So if this book were to ever be a TV show or a film, I need to be the costume designer. Usually when I read, there's a character that I would love to act and whatever. If I had to pick a character to be in this, though, it would have been Liz, except for like the obvious circumstances. I'm not a redhead and I don't have green eyes. I don't fit the character description of her, physically wise. But I do feel like I could be Joss, which is like her best friend in the book, if I had to act in it. However, I really, 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 really want a costume design for this. I fell in love with Liz's outfits, her transformation, everybody else's too. The way that everybody was described, I feel like I could dress you up. I know exactly what you will wear. I know exactly where to find it. I know what sizes you are already. I would kill to be a costume designer for this. I love it. I love it so much. My head was just able to imagine what everybody would look like, what their hair would look like, makeup, clothes, everything you could possibly imagine. I feel like I could do it. Definitely a type of costume that I could definitely thrive in. I could definitely enjoy doing it. I won't have any issues doing it. This is my world. This is my world. Rom-coms, cutesy stuff. This is it. I would love to be the costume designer for this show or movie if it were ever to be one. Please hit me up. I have binders. I have everything you want. So I could show you that I could be the costume designer for this. So yeah, that is the one thing I could definitely say. So if you're somebody who's looking for like inspiration, or you just kind of have an artist block or something and you are into like the world of fashion and stuff, I definitely recommend this reading just to like kind of get your juices flowing, because I was reading this while I was costume designing for the second show that I worked on this year, and I'm not gonna lie, there were moments where I just kind of felt a little lost and I had a little bit of a block. So reading this actually fueled my brain enough with imagination so that I can continue doing what I'm doing without a problem or without like that block. So that, thank you, Lynn Painter. for writing this, because this really helps me out a lot with like my imagination and figuring out what people are going to wear. Even though the play that I worked on while reading this, completely different from like what this is. However, it's still like, you know, got my brain flowing, got my creativity on. I was like so in love to do everything, you know. It's just like, I need to be a costume designer for this. I do. I absolutely need to. Like, please, 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 please. So up next is read time. I think I took about a week or so to read this book. Could have been a lot sooner if I didn't have the costume design gig to do, but it is what it is. It usually takes me about a week to finish anyway because I work a lot. But Google says it should be about a 6 to 10 hour read. It really just depends on your reading speed. And this book is about 300 to 350 pages long. So it's not a long book, very easy to read. You can just pop this in your bag and take it with you to the train, the bus, whatever. And again, like I said, it's an easy read. The words are very easy to read. There's no like big words or like massive amounts of information that you need to like kind of keep in your head throughout the book, which is nice. You know, like when you're reading like fantasy and stuff like that, you kind of have to have like a lot of things in your head where, okay, this character is this, they're with this person, all this stuff. Not so much with this book. There aren't that many characters in the book either for you to keep up with. I think this is generally a good amount of people, which is also why I want to costume design for this. I'm sorry, I'm going to just keep bringing this up because I need them to know that I want to design for this. This needs to be something so I could work with this somehow, you know? But let me stop. I digress. Let's talk about my rating and why I give it the rating that I give it, or gave it. I give this book probably like a 4 out of 5 because I really enjoy rom-coms. Probably a little biased with me to give it a 4 out of 5. I also love romantic comedy movies, so that's also why I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. They also, if you're really big on like TV shows and movies, definitely pick this up, and the second book, because they make a lot of references to a lot of shows and movies. Did I just say that? They make a lot of references to a lot of things that people from, like, I guess the 90s, especially if you were born in the 90s and you grew up watching the early 2000s rom-coms, or if you just started watching those, along with like some TV shows from like Nickelodeon and whatever. I think that is mostly mentioned in the second book though, but if you're a really big movie fan and TV show fan, definitely pick this up too because it's really fun. They make a lot of references. A lot. It's really great. So I give it a 4 out of 5 for that as well. And also because, again, I love the wardrobe. They really said quirky wardrobe, and they're right. At least to me, it's very quirky, very cute, very fun, you know? And it's still things that you could pick up like on a everyday, something that you wouldn't be able to find because it's not like a period piece or anything. That's just what makes it so much more fun. Anyways, yeah, so I give it a 4. I give it a 4 out of 5 for that. Again, I'm very biased. Of course, I'm gonna give it that. I love rom-coms. I don't read enough of it, I'll tell you that. I don't read enough of it because a lot of my books are like fantasy and smut and also like murder and stuff like that. So I don't really pick up a lot of rom-coms despite me loving it in movies and shows. But this is really great. This is a great pickup. And I will be talking about the next book, the sequel, eventually. I'm like not even halfway done with that. So yeah, I guess that's it. Have to like start moving on to making my next video, which will be the beginning of the Dream Harbor series discussions. And I will start with, I think it was like the pumpkin spice latte cafe or whatever it was. That is the first book of the series that I will be discussing next. And yeah, we're done. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, a wonderful afternoon, and a fantastic evening. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.